Yo, what's up? Today on What the Hell is Tettles talking about today, we have the health potion changes that are really strange to me. As a whole, I don't think this is the biggest change, but for some reason, Blizzard still begins to make these changes that are going to be slightly positive for Raid, but abnormally negative for Mythic Plus. Like, this isn't like the end all be all. And like, if whenever I had to talk about changes that I was looking forward to in Mythic Plus, HP potions would not have even been on the list of things that I would be looking to have changed first and foremost for a lot of things, as opposed to, I don't know, basically anything else. So with that in mind, we're going to go through the HP potion change. So just reading it out, in this week's build of Shadowlands Beta, health potions now have a 5-minute cooldown. Additionally, they are no longer limited to 1 use per encounter. Similar to the recent change to combat potions, this is intended to make potion use less of a hassle, less expensive, and more decision-oriented in various situations throughout the game. Health potions will continue to be on a separate cooldown from Healthstone and combat potions. Additionally, the Kyrian File of Serenity is now on a separate cooldown from health potions and has been updated to restore 20% HP with a 3-minute CD. However, File of Serenity is limited to 1 use per encounter. So, changes to File of Serenity, I will say those are pretty good. It used to share a cooldown with your HP potion, but now making it unique. It's really good for Kyrian. It allows you to have, like what they said, a little bit more of decision-oriented gameplay to allow you to actually use that potion to be able to remove bleeds or other debuffs off of yourself, as opposed to using it strictly for the heal, as people were previously doing. So that's actually not a bad change. As for the HP potion stuff, I will say that that's actually pretty good for Raid. Having multiple uses of health potion in Raid, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, especially since Raid is significantly more scripted to where you have like damage events coming out at roughly the same time, and so you're going to have your health potions allocated at about the same point every single time. I think that's actually pretty good for Raid. So now you're able to have multiple uses of health pot in combat, and it's going to overall allow you to have a little bit more flexibility with how you're able to keep yourself topped with health pots, and just helps you out a little bit more, makes it a little bit more of like a meta game decision as opposed to a once a fight kind of decision. So I think that's fine. For me, it's the same as the damage potion stuff. I do actually think that the damage potion 5-minute change made sense. I thought the utility potions, again though, were a little bit over the line for how Mythic Plus ends up functioning. It's the same as the HP potions. I think that while in Raid, the HP potion stuff is a great change, but whenever you compare it to Mythic Plus, it just seems like a nerf for like, I'm not exactly sure what the reason that the nerf is actually coming through for. And I'm not even sure if I would necessarily care if it hasn't been this way for 2 full expansions. Maybe I'm just an old man at this point and won't wait things left the way that they've always been. But like, seems like just a very strange change to me. And then they come to say that this is intended to make potion use less of a hassle, yet they make fucking Kyrian File of Serenity on a separate cooldown from Health Potion and Healthstone. And it's like, okay, so you're making Health Potion, Healthstone, and File of Serenity all unique, but yet you're claiming it's going to be less of a hassle? I don't see how that's actually correct. Why do I need an Opie wheel for Health Potion, Healthstone, and File of Serenity now? Like, if File of Serenity was on a 1-minute CD and shared cooldown with Health Pot, that would actually be less of a hassle as a whole. I do think it makes it more decision-oriented. I do think that is correct, but claiming that it's less of a hassle is just not true. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. So with this change, it had me go back and look at how often do you actually use health potions within a 5-minute window in Mythic Plus, and I will say it's actually kind of infrequent. But okay, so just like looking at this 29 Atalzar, you have some of these uses within 5 minutes of one another. So this 211 to 540, you wouldn't be able to use that potion, and you would be able to use the rest of these if you were in this group. And then there's a lot of instances where you would not be able to use them in quick succession, like this 121 to 518. You just would not be able to use this. Same with other dungeons. I would say on average about 15 health potions are used per dungeon across a full group. and it's like really dungeon specific whether or not you're going to actually be able to use them within the 5-minute window or not. So, for example, I would say the most egregious is something like a Waycrest Manor, where you have like very squishy classes tanking maggot spits, and they're like, oh fuck, health pot, health pot, health pot, and you're kind of just freaking out because the maggots that actually put the debuff on you, it makes you really scared. So you would be missing a lot of these potions if you were trying to use them within a 5-minute window. I just think the point for me is that it actually doesn't increase your decision making in Mythic Plus at all. Like, you're not using, like, Mythic Plus is not scripted enough for you to be able to pre-plan where you're using your health pots at any given time. And more often than not, you're not using health potions within 5 minutes of one another. But whenever you do, you need that extra burst of healing at that absolute given moment. Is it going to affect your pulling in a dungeon, having your potion on a 5-minute CD? No. Is it a massive inconvenience for it, though? Yes, and there's no real reason. I mean, sure, you're still going to have Healthstone and File Serenity, but now I guess it makes the Healthstone and File Serenity, like, layering more important. Like, you can't use, like, multiple at the exact same time. Otherwise, you're actually kind of throwing. Like, sometimes, if you're really freaked out, you'll use Health Potion and Healthstone in the same pull. If you're actually just fucking dying, you'll use them both together. However, with this change, using File of Serenity, Healthstone, or Health Potion all in the same, like using 2 of the 3 of those in the same pull is just straight up throwing because of how long you're actually putting them on cooldown for. Or in Healthstone's case, they are limited uses and you're going to need your Warlock to drop more Healthstones, or go get another Warlock from outside of the instance, something like that. But again, I think it's just another change that Blizzard makes that is just this much better for Raid. And then it's like substantially worse for Mythic Plus for no real reason. And I think that it just proves a point that they are willing to make changes that are just incrementally better for Raid. They just do not care as much about the adverse effects of Mythic Plus because they know that people will just deal with it. I mean, and also, like, being real for a second, in the grand scheme of the game, this isn't even, like, the most impactful change or, like, the most huge deal to get all up in arms about, but it makes me end up asking myself, like, why is this change even coming through whenever there's so many other things that they could have, like, addressed on a fundamental level? But who wanted this change? Like I guess that's the question for me, is just, like, who the hell wanted this change? It just comes out of nowhere, and I feel like there's so many other things that they could have done to address, like, I don't know, cost of potions, like the crafting materials that is required or something, as opposed to doing something like this where you're just going to be strictly using less potions. I just don't understand the point. Maybe I am just getting older and just, oh, back in my day, the world was different and we had health potions on a 1-minute CD kind of shit, and it's just like, I don't know why the change even happens. Maybe, I don't know, dude. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. If you guys have any insight as to why this change should occur, I actually do want to hear, like, some arguments for this change as a whole. I do think that it is good for Raid. Again, I do want to reiterate that. But as a whole, I think it's just, like, slightly worse for Mythic Plus, and I'm not exactly sure why. Anyways, hope you guys all have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you guys in the next video.